Everybody, Pasky here. Welcome to another video on Psy, the premier magic tech mod, aka 10th grade mathematics, the mod. Today I got a lot of stuff to show you. I'm gonna start off with this thing I have in my hands. It's a new type of CAD, it's creative only. It has infinite efficiency and infinite potency. And these in front of me, some of these new decorative blocks, they look pretty cool. I actually quite like building a lab with them, which I have done right here. And I have 4 programmers right here with some spells I want to show you guys. So in my hand you can see I have 2 normal spell bullets, which also have a tooltip saying they're normal and they have a cost. Different spell bullets are going to have different costs. There's also a loopcast one, which last time wasn't implemented, now it is. And a circle one, which has a 1500,000 cost multiplier. I'll tell you guys, 1500%, no, 1500% cost multiplier, so 15 times. I'm going to show you guys all these in a moment, but first let's start off with these basic spells. We have move, and collapse. Now, move is making use of this new piece, which is trick move block. That takes a position and an axial vector and moves a block along that vector. I'll show you guys what it does in a moment. Now we have collapse. It collapses the block as if it were sand, that's what it says. I'm sure you can figure that one out, so let's add these in. Let's try these out. So let's go with move. I have already set up a block over here so we can test it out. And as you can see, it does pretty much what we'd expect. It does pretty much what we'd expect. It just moves the block in the side we are looking at. You know, that's what you'd expect from a move piece. And collapse, you know. Nothing too special here either. Very standard stuff, just makes a block fall. There's a lot of uses, of course, but this is just one of them, just playing around. So those are just 2 very basic spells we have added with some of the new pieces. If you've done some explanations, I'm sure you can figure this out. You have a raycast here, an axis raycast. We've shown all these in the last episodes, and they have a negation over here, so if it was going to get this side, it will move the block backwards. We want to negate the vector, so it's going to move it forwards. That's what negate does. And for collapse, I'm sure you can figure this one out. Now over here we have some fun ones. We have underground 9x9, and we have wall plus X. Let's start with the underground 9x9. This one is going to go on a loopcast spell bullet. As you can see, it says type loopcast. So I'm going to show this one off first. So let's put it in here. Alright. Let's go underground 9x9. Let's find a place to make an underground 9x9. So let's do it over here. Alright. There you go, underground 9x9. You see, as soon as I unequip my CAD, the spell stopped. That's because this is a loopcast type spell, and you can see I also modified this. It tells you what type of spell it is. You can see this one has a bit of a larger bolt and has a small animation in the tip. That means it's a loopcast type spell. A loopcast type spell starts as soon as you cast it, and then it continues on for like once every 5 ticks, so 4 times per second. The initial cooldown on your Psy only applies for the first cast. So if you have a lot of Psy and you want to cast a cheap spell forever, you want to use Loopcast. And we have then just used a Loopcast to break all of these blocks right here. Now you might wonder, how did a spell do a different thing every time? Every time I cast a spell in the Loopcast, it broke a different column. Well, I'm going to show that off in a moment then. Let's go back to our Mad Lab of Madness. And the tricky piece in here is this one over here. Selector Loopcast Index. That returns a number equal to the amount of times this loopcast has been executed. This then goes into an operator modulus, which returns the modulus of a number to another number, and if you don't know what that is the rest or the remainder of an integer division. So it divides the number by 9 and gives us the rest. And over here we have an integer division by 9. So that is enough to let us know which positions we want to break our blocks at. And then it just goes over here to a break block sequence trick, which we have already shown in the last video. Now let's check out this one over here, wall plus X. This one is on a spell circle bullet. And a spell circle bullet works in a similar manner to a loopcast. It works by placing a spell circle on the ground and then doing stuff from it. So let's try it out. Let's just set it to daytime. in case you guys can't see anything. All right. Oh, I think I'm still using this one. Yeah, I'm still using underground 9x9. Let's go wall. And as you can see, we have built a wall from the block right next to our CAD. If we had something else like this one over here, we will build out of this one instead. Okay, now remember the spell says wall plus X. That is because the spell is programmed to go towards positive X. You can see in the corner on my facing it says east towards positive X. So it's gonna go right here. Even if I look the other way, it would still build it the other way, and you can see it even went all the way over here because the spell, a spell circle bullet, casts a spell a total of 20 times. So if there were empty spaces here, it would have definitely put more blocks here as well. Of course, these are free because I'm in creative. If I wasn't in creative, it would be taking blocks from my inventory that are equal to this one. So that's all our spells we have over here, but there's few more I want to show you. You might have noticed I have a blink spell. Now, anyone who's ever played anything knows what blink is. Right? You know? So let's go back here. Aha! Over here we have another spell. Over here is just blink, and here's a blink spell. Blinks forward. This one does not take a motion vector or a position vector because, sorry, a direction vector, because I don't want it to be able to just blink anywhere. So you can give it the constant and then it blinks wherever you're looking. But what I actually want to show you is in this chest. In this chest we have these things. These are called spell drives. If I take one of them and use it over here, you can see the spell drive now contains wall plus X. And if I break this programmer, I can put the spell back. So that's cool. You can store spells in these spell drives. You can also copy them. I just grab a... I didn't prepare for this. Crafting table. Alright, so let me clone this. You can see. This one also has wall plus X, and so does this one. So you can clone your spell drives if you want to. But what I actually want to show you is what's inside these other two spell drives. 9x9 spell. Yes. This one is the old version. I modified the 9x9 spell today. The old version is actually a lot bigger, but I thought I'd still show you because it's pretty cool. So I'm gonna grab some circle spell bullets to run the 9x9 spell in. Let's go over here. This is what the 9x9 spell looks like. Looks like a barrel lungs. That's what it does. You can see we're making use of the loopcast index operator, as well as the modulus and the integer divide. So it's working in a very similar manner to what the underground one did, but this one is a bit different. You can see we have our place block and we have our focal point, which also works with spell circles. This is kind of complex to explain. So I'm gonna explain it like in a piece. My brain just did. These two sides are pretty much the same to each other, except over here. Over here you can see the X on the top and the Z's on the side, and over here the X on the side and the Z's on the top. So I'm just going to explain one side, and the other one is also the same thing, just with Z instead of X. So on this side we are going to start off by grabbing the index, which is the block we want to place. Then we divide it by 9, and we modulate it by 2. So this is going to do something like this. It's going to make a wall here, and then once it's placed 9 blocks, it's going to make one over here as well. Now, we have the modulus by 2, so when it goes over, it won't play plus 1 over here. Remember, a spell circle makes the spell happen 20 times. As for 9x9, we only need 18 columns on each line. Of course, you're going to need 36 total, but that's why we have 2 block sequences here. So if it were to not have the modulus here, we'll go like, place 9 blocks, imagine that's 9, and then we just place 2 more we shouldn't have. So the modulus prevents it from placing 2 more. Then we multiply it by 8 to make sure we go 8 blocks away from the original one, and then start placing our new line. So that's how you can place the 2 parallel walls. And then it just makes the vector over here and passes it over here. No, very standard stuff. And what you have on the side is just the same thing except with the Z and X backwards. So that's my first one. My old one, sorry, that's my second one. That's the one I've optimized. The old one looked like this. This one is a bit more complex. This one it's basically the same concept except there's 4 block sequences. This one is mirrored in it's mirrored in a it's like this side over here is for I believe it's for Z and this one is for X. You can see same thing, the X and Z are different. And then you have a addition over here of 8, which is pretty similar to what we had before, where it adds 8. and then it starts placing the stuff. So this one over here is the one that places it forward. So let's also grab this one over here. Let's put it back. And I'm going to show you guys... Oh, by the way, the reason I'm taking the CAD from here without shift click is there because there's a bug with shift click in here. I have to fix that, but right now I don't want to go through it. So as you can see, we remember that this one is plus x, this one is plus xz. So you have to go plus x and towards positive z. So we know our thing. You can see the red and blue lines. That's where the 9x9 is going to be placed. So that's how the new one looks. I'm going to show you guys how the old one looked. The old one looked kind of like this. You can see it's placing 4 blocks at a time. Now you may say, but 4 blocks at a time is better, you know, it places it faster. Yeah, but it's a lot more expensive as well. You can see this one is 160, and then you have to realize this is multiplied by 15. Because Spell Bullet, this one over here, it has a cost multiplier of 1500%. Whereas this one over here, the new one only has 80. It only has a requirement of 80. Because it only has 2 pieces, whereas the old one had 4. Right? So the new one it's a bit slower, right? But it's also more optimized, and it's not making useless use of some of the cycles. Like in the new one, if I grab it to the old one first, if I go to the old one, you can see it's gonna place 9 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then it's done. But there's still 11 more cycles to work with because the spell circle has 20 cycles. If I use this one is gonna place things 18 times, and it's gonna waste quote unquote 2 cycles. So it's a lot more efficient. And of course I also use a lot less Psy, which is going to be important when you are limited by the amount you can use. And then I think is all the new stuff that's been added. There's these things, I haven't got a recipes to them yet, and that's it. If you want to check out the leveling up, there's all the stuff. You have loop casting over here, you have the movement tricks, the mass add motion one, that's the one I use for my Creeper Dance Party video. These ones, the block movement, this is for Psy Mouse, so that's how you create this stuff. If you don't know how you create that, I can just quickly show you. In Fusion, this requires nothing at all. So, Sun Metal, Fusion. Let's put this in here, grab another bullet. If you don't know how to do this, it's just you grab some gold. I'm also going to grab some redstone for another thing. So to make Psy Metal, you just first off unlock this, right? The Psy Metal Infusion, which is at level 10. Then you drop some gold on the world, and you run it. Right, that's how you make Psy Metal. To make Psy Dust as well, it's very simple. You just throw some redstone in the world, have nothing selected, and it makes Psy Dust. This is the one you make right at the start of the game to get started. Psy Gem don't have a recipe yet, but it's gonna be, it's gonna be the same thing just with diamonds. And these ones I haven't figured out what to do with these yet, but these are gonna be the higher tier metals. There's gonna be some different recipe for them. But alright, that's all I gotta show you. Remember, this mod is still in closed beta, and it's still very much a work in progress. I am still waiting for Wiv to take care of these textures here. I'm sure you can make a lot fancier looking interface. Alright, I'll see you next video.